I was up at 3 o'clock this morning with my notebook, trying to write a song. You know what I mean? And I just felt like, oh yeah, there's no more songs left. They're all done. I got nothing.
Right.
And it's like, I've been here before. Fuck. You know what I mean? And so you just kind of keep. You just sit there. You just sit there until something happens, and then something happens, and
Yeah.
then you get excited again, and then once you get excited again, then it flows. But
Yeah. And is there a drive that forces you to keep at it? Is there a motivation? Do you have things that you need to get out?
It's me.
Or is it
No.
Tom with a whip saying, right?
and mostly I enjoy it.
Yeah. Because, you've been crazily prolific, really, with all, not just with Pixies, but with all the different things that you've done. It always seems to me that, what seems like a quiet period, actually, you're busy doing some other project, trying to explore some other ideas.
Well, I guess I could, if someone were to lodge a criticism at my songwriting, you could say that maybe I'm not the best self-editor. You know what I mean? That I tend to kind of put out more than I hold back. You know what I mean? And occasionally I do regret things that I have written and wish I would have done better or something like that. But I enjoy it too much. And, I learned from some painting people that, if you really want to like cut the bullshit and be a real painter, then you can't really be afraid to fail. You can't be afraid to suck. Just fucking do it. You know what I mean? Just do it. That's all that really matters. And so when I learned that in painting, I went, okay, that's what I do. I already do that. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. So does that mean that every song is going to give everyone a goosebump? I don't know. It's not. It really isn't. But that's how we get to some pretty weird places, or at least eccentric places or interesting places. You know what I mean? How did we come up with that? Why did we do that? What were we thinking when we did that? I think we weren't thinking, and we weren't afraid to be silly, for example, or to be a little too loud or a little too quiet or a little too short, a little too long-winded. Whatever it is, whatever the quirk is, don't be afraid. If that's what you're feeling in the moment, then just do it. And, hopefully if you got a producer there in the producer's chair who you get along with, they'll do some editing for you, and they'll give it that'll help give it some integrity, I think. So that's why I think that we've always worked with a producer too, is because that brings, David calls Tom the fifth member of the Pixies, but it's an appropriate title, I think. If you're getting along with a producer, they are the extra member of the band. They're the band member that's maybe not playing anything so much, but they're paying attention, and they're bringing some perspective that gives it some integrity, like I said, that otherwise would not be there. It would be completely your ego, you know what I mean, without any kind of softening or anything. So, I think I stand by my lack of self-editing, because otherwise I wouldn't get to where I would never come up with a song like Jane, the night the zombies came. Like, how the hell I wouldn't have dreamed of ever writing a song like that. Even now, I wouldn't dream of writing a song like that. But that's what happened, because that's what happened, and so you just go with it.
Time for a quick Tape It feature highlight. Among the various ways Tape It helps you organize your voice notes, you can create mixtapes. If you're working on a particular song or want to group specific ideas, you can add them to a mixtape. And the best thing is, you can invite bandmates or writing partners to collaborate on them so they can add their ideas to the mixtape as well. To find out more, follow the link in the description or use the promo code TAPENOTES for 20% off Tape It Pro.
Yeah, if you were like nano-focused on like 3 songs, that might not have been one of them. But because we were working on 20, it kind of gives you a bit more leeway, a bit more scope to sort of
I am thankful for the LP format, even though you would think that with streaming it would have gone away. But even people that have grown up only with streaming music still associate the LP with a kind of a picture, a montage of the artist's life in a particular season. That was his divorce record. That was the record that he was on drugs.
Yeah.
That was the record that, whatever, where he was, it's a seasonal kind of grouping, you know what I mean? And so I am thankful for the LP format, because if it was just singles with B-sides or whatever, then that you really have to hyper focus, you know what I mean? But yeah, I got 35, 45 minutes to fool around with here. So, and the format is still within the LP a song. So the song is only 2 or 3 minutes long, 4 minutes. Maybe you're going to have a 5-minute song if you're lucky or whatever. It's all these kind of nuggets that are kind of that length. And you add up, he likes to, sometimes we want to get carried away and do double LP or something like that. But he's always thinking more, what does this actually sound like on a vinyl? We can't go over 42 minutes or whatever. It's going to sound like crap. So he's kind of already got this fixated Tom.
Yeah.
He's got to kind of it's got to be 35, 40 minutes. More than that, it's bullshit. Or we're not going to be able to put that on a vinyl. So he has his own romantic feelings about what an LP is, even though I haven't fucking listened to a vinyl record in who knows how long. But we all have this idea, you know what I mean?
I think there's kind of a sweet spot in that kind of about 40 minutes of music that's it's not, with a few exceptions, most of everyone's favorite records are about that long, and there's a reason for that, I think, And
half the time you only end up listening right to your favorite 3, but you need to come up with that 40 minutes to get to those 3. You can't just write the 3. It just isn't. No, you have to go, you have to let it all out and everything. And then hopefully the whole thing is amazing. You know what I mean? From beginning to end. You hope for that. But it's hard to tell if it's really amazing until you could look at it 5 years later and go oh yeah, we really nailed it that time. It was beginning to end, it's smoking. And other times it's oh yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, these are the top 3 and this is the B list, you know what I mean? And that's just the way that it is. We call it a failure, if you will, but whatever, you can't be afraid.